Let's get right into it. Number 10, you have extra ribs. Let's talk about your neck. Specifically, the fact that you might have a spare rib up there like some kind of evolutionary overachiever. It's called a cervical rib, and around 1 in every 200 people has it. It's a bonus rib that grows out of your 7th cervical vertebra, right near your collarbone. You know, where ribs don't normally hang out. Sometimes it's tiny, just a nub of bone that's never noticed. Other times, it's fully formed and just vibing up there like it belongs. And while it might not cause any problems at all, in rare cases, this extra rib can press on nerves or blood vessels and cause something called thoracic outlet syndrome, which sounds like a sci-fi disease, but is really just neck rib drama. Symptoms can include tingling, pain, numbness in the arms, or feeling like your upper body is on airplane mode. Fun. If that happens, it's fixable, often with physical therapy or minor surgery. But a lot of the time, people go their whole lives with an extra rib and never know they've got a bonus bone in their neck. It's like finding out you've been carrying a coat hanger in your shoulder blade for 30 years. Evolutionarily, it's probably just a developmental misfire, a leftover from our reptilian cousins who had more ribs than we do and apparently still want us to have them too. So if x-rays ever reveal you've got more ribs than usual, don't panic. You're not broken, just slightly more deluxe edition than the rest of us. Number 9, you have a hole near your ear. Check just above your ear, near where your face meets your hairline. Feel a tiny pinhole. You, my friend, may have a preauricular sinus, a rare genetic quirk that looks like your body installed a second earlobe port and then forgot what it was for. This tiny hole is usually harmless, though it can occasionally get infected, which is less quirky genetic feature and more, I now have a zit with ambitions. But for most people, it just sits there, a quiet, mysterious little reminder that your blueprint had thoughts. Roughly 0.1 to 0.9% of people in the US have one, but in some parts of Africa and Asia, it's way more common. Up to 10% evolutionary biologists think it might be a leftover from fish gill slits, which, if true, makes you just one step away from being part aquatic. Call it the Little Mermaid gene. People usually discover it by accident, during a haircut, a piercing appointment, or a game of, what's this bump and should I panic? And once they know about it, they get to live with the surreal knowledge that their body has bonus features with no actual patch notes. So yeah, if you've got a preauricular pit, congratulations. You're 98% human, 2% mystery USB port. Number 8, you can wiggle your ears. This one feels like a joke until you realize it's a legit neurological flex. If you can wiggle your ears without touching them, like just by thinking real hard and scrunching up your scalp, you've unlocked a vestigial power most of us can only dream of. Ear wiggling comes from auricular muscles, tiny face-side fibers that in other mammals help them pivot their ears towards sound. Cats? Ear wiggling pros. Bats? Elite level. Humans? Barely there. But if you've got control over those nearly retired muscles, you're part of a very rare group. About 10 to 20% of humans who still retain some voluntary ear movement. It's like having a tail that can wave, but more polite. And while it doesn't really do anything functional, unless you count impressing bored co-workers, it is a perfect example of evolutionary leftovers still hanging around like your high school hoodie you just can't toss. Some scientists believe the ability could be improved with practice or training, so if you're this close to wiggling, just keep at it. Or don't. It's not like your survival depends on it. Unless, of course, someone challenges you to a most useless talent contest, in which case, wiggle on, warrior. Number 7, webbed toes or fingers. Some people are born with syndactyly, which is just a sciencey way of saying your fingers or toes are holding hands with each other. This happens when the tissues between your digits don't fully separate in the womb, and honestly, it's not even that rare. About 1 in every 2,000 to 2,500 babies is born with some version of it. Sometimes it's just a little extra skin between 2 toes, usually the second and third. And other times, bones or joints might be fused like your limbs are trying to form a team-building exercise. And no, it doesn't mean you're part duck, although that would be a fun party story. In most cases, syndactyly doesn't cause pain or limit function, especially in the toes, where no one's running a precision toe ballet. Fingers are a bit trickier, and surgery is usually an option for people who want or need more separation. But functionally, webbed toes won't stop you from sprinting, swimming, or doing your best velociraptor impression. Bonus fun fact, in some cultures, webbed toes are considered lucky. Other times, they're just ignored. Because, again, it's toes. And unless you're a sock model, no one cares what's going on down there. So if you're rocking connected digits, just remember, you're not broken, you're limited edition, built-in flippers not included, but spiritually present. Number 6. Your eyes are two different colors. Ah yes, heterochromia iridum, aka the reason strangers look at you like you're a mythical creature. If your eyes are noticeably different colors, like one blue, one brown, or even if just a sliver of one eye is a different hue, you've got one of the rarest and most hypnotic body features out there. It can be full heterochromia, one eye each color, sectoral heterochromia, a splash of different color in one iris, or central heterochromia, rings around the pupil like your eyeball is cosplaying Jupiter. It can be genetic or caused by injury, disease, or even certain medications, but mostly it just is. People with heterochromia are out here looking like fantasy protagonists while the rest of us are struggling to find matching socks. It affects less than 1% of the population, and while it doesn't impact vision, it does come with the unofficial superpower of having strangers ask, "Are you wearing colored contacts?" every 15 minutes. Some famous heterochromia havers include Mila Kunis, Kate Bosworth, Henry Cavill, and, if your brain needs a throwback, David Bowie, although his was due to a pupil injury, not true heterochromia, but still iconic. So if your eyes look like a before and after color grade, don't hide it. You were literally born with naturally occurring Photoshop. Number 5. You were born with a tail. No, not metaphorically. Not haha, I'm such a Scorpio. A literal tail, or at least the ghost of one. Here's the weird science. Every human embryo starts off with a tail. Yep, you, me, Beyonce. We all sprouted a tiny little noodle of spinal ambition around week 4 in the womb. Normally, it gets absorbed by the body by week 8, forming the coccyx, that little triangle of bones you now call your tailbone. But in extremely rare cases, that tail doesn't go away. Instead, the baby is born with a visible tail, sometimes with skin, muscle, even movement. It's called a true vestigial tail, and only about 40 or so documented cases have made it into medical literature since the dawn of, wait, what is that? These tails are usually benign and removed early on. They're not connected to the spine or useful for balance, they're just leftovers, like your body's version of an extra cupcake. Weird, unnecessary, and totally surprising. Evolutionarily, it's a throwback to our tail-having ancestors, which means if you were born with one, you're not defective. You're just rocking a limited edition collector's item from Team Primate. So if you ever feel like you don't quite fit in, just remember, you might have been born with a tail. That's not weird, that's metal. Number 4, you have elf ears. Okay, not literal elf ears, unless you are an elf, in which case, welcome to the internet, Legolas. But if the top of your ear curves into a soft point instead of a smooth arc, congratulations. You might have Stall's ear, also known as Spock ear or satyr ear, depending on how dramatic your friends are. This rare ear shape is caused by an extra fold of cartilage that gives the top part of the ear that distinctive pointy look. It's not harmful, just a little aesthetic curveball, like nature was doodling while assembling your ears and went, let's spice this one up. Stoll's ear affects fewer than 1% of people, and it's more common in East Asian populations. Sometimes it runs in families, other times it's just a solo act. Some parents get it surgically corrected in infancy, especially in cultures that value more typical ear shapes. Others let it be, because frankly, it's kind of awesome. Does it make you a better listener? Number. Does it mean you should audition for every fantasy role ever? Absolutely. So if people have ever told you your ears are unique, cool, or weirdly aerodynamic, you might be rocking one of evolution's rare ear flexes. And yes, you have full permission to tell people you're part elf, especially at Renaissance fairs. Number 3, missing a muscle. Most people have quick quiz. Can you touch your pinky and thumb together? Then flex your wrist like you're trying to mime fancy tea. Now check if a little tendon pops up on your inner wrist. If it doesn't, welcome to the no palmaris longus club. Roughly 14% of people are born without this muscle. That's right, you're missing a body part and you're doing just fine. It's like Mother Nature went, yeah, they probably won't need this one. Toss it. The palmaris longus used to help our ancestors climb trees or wrestle saber-toothed squirrels or whatever. But modern humans don't need it to text, type, or stress-eat snacks. Surgeons even harvest it for tendon grafts because it's the appendix of the arm world. Present in most, missed by many, useful only if you need a spare. Having it or not doesn't make you stronger or weaker, it just makes you part of the why is this even here biological fan club. So next time someone brags about their weird party tricks, flex that wrist and say, you're looking at evolution's minimalist. Number 2, double-rowed eyelashes. Elizabeth Taylor had them. Probably. So did about 1 in every 1,000 people. It's called distichiasis, and it's a fancy way of saying, congratulations, your eyelids grew bonus lashes like they're trying to qualify for eyelash Olympics. Instead of one dainty row of lashes keeping your eyeballs dust-free, you get two. Sometimes that second row is soft and fluttery, like nature's mascara. Other times, it's less glam, more tiny hair daggers slowly scraping your corneas. Distichiasis is caused by a mutation in the FOXC2 gene, which sounds like a Star Wars droid, but is actually a real part of your DNA. It tells cells in your eyelid to become lashes, and then forgets to stop. This condition ranges from harmless to I need eye drops and sunglasses indoors. And fun fact, some people don't even know they have it until their eye doctor goes, "Hey, you've got a bonus lash layer back here. Neat." In rare cases, it can come with other genetic syndromes, but often, it's just your body being extra, like adding glitter to an already sparkly outfit. So if your lashes could smuggle breeze from across the room, congrats. You've got that double lash drama. Just try not to stab yourself every time you blink. Number 1, you can't feel pain. Some people walk barefoot across Lego mines and feel nothing. Not because they're superhuman or numb inside from watching too many soap operas, but because they have something called congenital insensitivity to pain. Translation: their nervous system skipped the memo that pain is, kind of important. It sounds cool at first. No stubbed toe agony, no dentist dread. You could do parkour in a cactus patch and just say, neat. But here's the horror plot twist. Pain exists to protect you. It's the body's smoke alarm. Without it, you could break a bone and keep walking on it. You could burn your hand on a stove and not notice until someone asks why you smell like barbecue. People with this condition often end up with serious injuries they didn't even know they had. Kids chew on their tongues. Adults walk around with fractured limbs. It's not pain-free invincibility. It's like playing life on hard mode with no warning buzzers. And because it's genetic and incredibly rare, we're talking about a few dozen families worldwide. Chances are, if you're feeling a suspicious lack of agony, you should probably still see a doctor, or at least check if your foot is still attached. Basically, this isn't a superpower, it's your body forgetting how to scream. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.